Pat Summitt, coaching legend. Pat Summitt, coaching legend. Focus question. What contributions did Pat Summitt make to sports as a player and a leader? A new coach. Pat Summitt had a very busy year in 1976. The 24-year-old former college basketball star was now the new coach of her old team. The team didn't have much money or support from the school, but Summitt coached them to a winning season. At the same time, she finished graduate school. In addition, she won a silver medal at the Olympic Games in Montreal, Canada. Very few women before Pat Summitt had so many opportunities to succeed in sports. Millions of women and girls would succeed afterward, however, in part because of her long, inspiring career. Early life. Pat was born in 1952 in Clarksville, Tennessee. She learned the importance of hard work from a young age while working on her family's farm. She had to be up at 5 a.m. every morning to milk the cows. She played hard by shooting hoops with her older brothers in the barn when their work was done. Chances for young girls to play competitive sports were rare at the time. In grade school, Pat had to travel several towns away to play basketball. When she graduated from high school, her choices was limited. Her older brothers had gone to college in athletic scholarships, but those weren't afforded to girls in 1917. Her parents paid for her to go to the Martin campus in the University of Tennessee. There she played basketball and was voted the team's most valuable player. During the senior year, Summitt suffered a serious knee injury. In the 1970s, such a knee injury usually marked the end of an athlete's playing career. After surgery to repair her knee, Summitt kept playing, even when she was in pain. That same year, she finished college at UT Martin as the team's all-time leading scorer with 1,045 points over her 4 years there. A new era for female athletes. When Summitt went to college in the early 1970s, female athletes across the United States faced many challenges. Women who were interested in playing sports were steered toward low-contact sports such as tennis, croquet, or archery. Team sports were mostly for men. College women's sports were usually intramural, meaning they competed among themselves and not against other schools. Women's teams received just a fraction of the money and support that men's teams did. That would soon change, though. In 1972, Congress passed a law known as the oh,
9.
Title the Ninth. The law said that public schools and universities couldn't discriminate based on gender and had to give women the same opportunities as men. The law was seen as an extension of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which outlawed discrimination based on race. Title the Ninth had a tremendous positive impact on sports. It encouraged the young women to be athletic and gave them more resources to be successful. Becoming a coach. After graduating in 1974, Summitt went to the University of Tennessee at Knoxville to earn a master's degree. An opportunity arose when the school's women's basketball coach quit on short notice. Summitt's leadership as a player had impressed the university. At just 22 years old, she was offered the job as head coach of the Lady Volunteers, Lady Vols. 4 of her players were only a year younger than she was. Although Title the Ninth had taken effect, schools were still slow to give women's sports true equality. Tennessee's women's basketball team had such a small budget that they had to sell donuts to pay for uniforms. Summitt washed the uniforms herself between the games. The Lady Vols went 16-8 in Summitt's first season as coach. In her second year, Summitt coached the team to 16 wins again while finishing her master's degree. Her biggest success that year came as a player, though she earned a spot on the first ever U.S. Olympic women's basketball team in 1976. At age 24, she was the oldest player on the team. She immediately became the group's leader. With her help, the team won a silver medal. The next 2 years in a row, Summitt coached the Lady Vols to over 20 wins and 2 regional championships. In the following seasons, they won 30 games, won 33. Summitt was at the start of one of the greatest coaching careers in college basketball history. More winning. In 1982, the National College Athletics Association NCAA finally introduced the Women's March Madness Championship Tournament. The Lady Vols went to the Final Four but lost to Louisiana Tech. 2 years later, Summitt coached the U.S. Olympic women's basketball team to a gold medal. That victory made her the first American to win Olympic medals as both a player and a coach. In 38 years, Summitt's Lady Vols never had a losing season. They won nice NCAA tournament and in 1997-98 went undefeated, an almost unheard of feat in basketball. By the time she retired, Summitt had coached 1,098 wins, the most in college basketball history, men's or women's. Her record stood until 2016. The coach who began by selling donuts to support the team was earning $1 million salary. Her team and others all over the country were finally getting the respect and support they deserved from their schools. Pat Summitt's definite dozen. Summitt had 12 rules she would pass on to her players. First, respect yourself and others. Second, take full responsibility. Third, develop and demonstrate loyalty. Fourth, learn to be a great communicator. Fifth, discipline yourself so no one else has to. Sixth, make hard work your passion. Seventh, don't just work hard, work smart. Eighth, put the team before yourself. Ninth, make winning an attitude. 10th, be a competitor. 11th, change is a must. 12th, handle success like you handle failure. Summitt's believe in hard work and personal responsibility paid off for her players on and off the court. Every single one of the players Summitt coached graduated from college. Women's basketball goes pro. In 1996, a women's professional basketball league, the Women's National Basketball Association (WNBA), was founded. Its players and fans grew up in a world where women's sports were taken seriously. This was partly because Title IX had leveled the playing fields, and partly because players and coaches were, such as Pat Summitt, showed how competitive and exciting women's basketball could be. Summitt was never directly involved with WNBA, but she still had an impact. The New York Liberty played in the league's first ever game and its first ever championship. Their coach, Nessie Dershey, had been an assistant coach to Summitt. Almost a quarter of the 161 college players Summitt coached went on to play in the league. 16 WNBA first-round picks were coached by Pat Summitt. A new battle. While Summitt was seemingly unbeatable on the basketball court, she faced an even tougher opponent in 2011. Doctors discovered that she had Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's causes people to lose the ability to remember things. While the disease usually only affects elderly people, Summitt was not yet 60 when she learned she was sick. She coached one final season with the help of her longtime assistant coach and then retired before her health made it too difficult to continue working. Pat Summitt passed away 5 years later, but she left a powerful legacy. Her career helped change women's basketball and gave women more opportunities in sports. She inspired everyone around her to be better people and better competitors. To this day, a foundation named in her honor raises money to search for a cure of Alzheimer's, with Summitt's strength and perseverance still serving as an inspiration. Pat Summitt throughout years. 1952. Born on a farm in Clarksville, Tennessee. 1970. Attends the University of Tennessee at Martin. 1972. Congress passes Title the Ninth. 1974. Graduates from college. Named coach of the Lady Wolves. 1976. Leads the first ever U.S. Olympic women's basketball team to a silver medal. 1982. NCAA adds the Women's March Madness Tournament, so meets Lady Vols reached the Final Four. 1984 returns to the Olympics, coaching the U.S. women's team to a gold medal. 1998 leads Lady Vols to an undefeated season. 2011 diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. 2012 retires as the winningest coach in the history of college basketball. 2016 dies at age 64.